Going on, everyone? Seth Miranda here. This is Adorama Rewind. A bunch of fun stuff has happened this week. Some not so fun stuff has happened this week. This one's pretty cool though. Magnum, one of the most well-known photo agencies in the world with an incredible roster of talent to their name, announced that they're launching online courses. So the first one up is going to be street photography. They have some really great names featured on this, like Martin Parr, Bruce Gilden, Carolyn Drake, Mark Power. They've been known for a benchmark of talent and just a level in this industry. So I have a ton of their books. I love the people they put to the forefront, so I'm really excited to see where they go in the education space. There is no word on how much or the availability, but it is going to be a 10 video series to start off. So you can go to the link and you can get a subscription to find out, all the details when it is released and what's going on. And of course, the more you support this, the more they'll put more stuff out. So let's see what happens there. I'm kind of curious. So in some not so fun news, Kansas City has been posting these signs around saying, photographers, you're not welcome. Because apparently in well-known spaces like this, photographers have been going inside of lobby spaces and setting up props and all sorts of scenes to do photos, or leaving their garbage around. In some instances, they reported that paint splatters have been all over the walls and in some places. So obviously they can't stop you from being in a public place and shooting the buildings, but once you go in those buildings, even though you can find a way to gain access, it's not cool if you just use the space. Residents are not happy, and they're kind of being very vocal about it. So remember, kids, we can't have nice things when you keep wrecking them, okay? We did that story about the sunflower fields, the Instagram people stomping on all those flowers. Same thing here. So if you're gonna go somewhere, be respectful, get permission, and also clean up after yourselves. However you found it, that's how you leave it, okay? That's how we're allowed to keep things in this game. In some really fun news, this short film was shot all through a Hasselblad 500 cm. So Casey Cavanaugh was filming through the waist level viewfinder of her Hasselblad this entire short film, which is kind of a really cool concept. We've seen this stuff before, like Instagram photos shot through a viewfinder, things like that, but this is really a commentary on when is it a time to be a participant in life and when is it a time for us to document life. Are we living through our viewfinder as photographers? I know myself that when I flip through all my old slide books and everything like that, I have like flashbacks of how my life was. But you got to kind of find the balance, right? Like, was it worth not putting that camera down? Was it worth separating yourself or having that barrier? So this is a really cool commentary on that, to be seeing the entire film through the viewfinder. If you're not a photographer, I wonder if this film will give you the idea of what it's like to be totally glued into that viewpoint of life through a viewfinder, especially at a square frame. It's kind of interesting because we're used to the panoramic view of life. Write me down below. Let me know if you're someone that has the trouble distinguishing whether or not to put the camera down or go be part of what's happening in front of you. Do you feel like you missed out on things, or does the camera make you feel like you preserved your life? I don't know. I'm curious about this. In not so fun news, this videographer is suing Adobe. So apparently he cleaned his cache out of Adobe Premiere and it deleted over 100,000 video clips on him. So he's suing for $250,000 because clearing that cache out was supposed to be temp files and just garbage files that take up disk space, allowing for a higher performance of Premiere. What actually happened, he lost his raw and his edited data. It just threw it all out. I don't know if this is a widespread bug or if he did this was user error completely. I would be cautious if I were you. Constantly save your files, but it is a class action suit. Oh man, sorry, this is live, kids. I do this all in one take. That's why I keep on doing the switching. So watch yourself out there, constantly save, and let me know if you've had any issues with, have you cleared your cache and noticed that some other files are missing? Have you had issues with Adobe Premiere? Have you lost some files out there? Hit me down below, let's talk about this. But for those of you who don't use Adobe or are looking to switch, Apple announced that Final Cut Pro version 10.4.4 is out, allowing for some really interesting stuff. So workflow extensions, allowing you to use third-party apps and services with all the Final Cut Pro X interfaces. A lot of cool things like batch sharing, comparison view, floating time code, video noise reduction, SRT captioning. A lot of well thought out improvements and add-ons have happened to Final Cut Pro. It's taken a lot of twists and turns with the interface on Final Cut, right? So now people seem to be going back over to it, especially with the ProRes RAW being partnership with Final Cut Pro. It is a completely different feel as far as editing goes. It is a different kind of language when you're you know, chopping up some video and trying to get to do what you want to do. It'll all do the same thing. It's just different wording, different placement, different menus, all sorts of stuff. Let me know if you've done the switch over. Let me know if you're giving up on Adobe, or let me know if you've not been happy with your instances with Final Cut Pro and you went back to Adobe. I'm kind of curious what people are using out there. We're seeing a lot of shifts and people have choices now. We've had these industry standards forever, and now people actually have their own pathways. There's options out there. In some fun news, the Loom Cube Air is released. So this is the updated version to the original Loom Cube. LED light, yeah. But what's really cool about this thing is it comes with the dome, diffusion dome, some other domes. But let me go over here. It has magnetic built-in mounting, so you can just chuck this thing against some metal and it'll mount itself, which is really awesome. Of course, it's waterproof like the old one was. And adjustable brightness, 90 plus or minus CRI, but they did custom design the lens to have more even fall off, so it should be a smoother light. I'm curious, I really want to try this thing out. It is an investment of about 70 bucks or so, which is a tiny jump up from the previous version. I bought the previous version. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty psyched with it. It's a really quick thing to throw in my bag and throw into a scene or find some illumination, or even just do some real ghosty, light traily stuff if you want a constant light source in your shots. Plus it does flashes. Plus you can put it in the app and do a bunch of Loom Cubes together, which is a lot of fun. What am I doing here? What is this? I don't know. I'm sorry, everybody. It's crazy. It's a crazy morning. But they did throw some really cool stuff into this. I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to try to get our hands on it and do something with it for you guys, so keep watch on that. So aside from all that, on our channel has been some really exciting stuff. I myself have released my Paris video, shot at Makeup Forever, with all this amazing body paint and special effects using just ProPhoto A1s, and really showing you the nuts and bolts of what went on with these really high-tech level shoots. If you get a chance, please head over to that and take a look at it. For everyone who has checked it out and left those amazing comments, thank you so much. It has meant a lot. So much went into that video, so much went into that shoot, so I really, really appreciate it. More locally though, my man Daniel Norton was right here in the event space, and he went live on Thursday. Let's take a look at that. Let me see, hitch over here, do this. He did the difference between a hard and soft light, when to apply it, how to apply it, things like that. My man even threw in a pink LED light right there as an accent. You can see it right behind her with the Westcott RGBW Flex Cine panels. He did a lot of cool stuff in there, showing you a lot of different looks with a lot of different types of light sources and modifiers. I strongly suggest you check that out. If you haven't joined us live for it, check this out, skim through it, see if it's for you, and then maybe join on one of these Thursdays when Daniel goes live and hit us up in the chat, and you can talk one-on-one. I mean, it's crazy. Whatever you ask, I chuck over to him, and he actually answers it. It's kind of crazy. Wild idea. And finally, just to wrap this all up, last week, one of you guys, Raul Farfan, sent a comment under the last episode of Rewind that said, "Great update as usual, Seth. I read some rumors about a new Olympus coming in January, worth following up. Maybe you can tell something about that in a future Adorama Rewind. Cheers, Raul." Well, Raul, this is a future episode, and I did look into that for you. I made a bunch of calls. I checked into some people I know at Olympus, and I'm going to tell you pretty much what you know I'm going to say. Yes, something's coming. No, they won't tell me. NDAs have been signed. Everyone's staying professional on a very tight lip. These are really good friends of mine, and they're just telling me like, hey, something cool is coming. Just hold tight. So yeah, but then again, any company will always tell you something's coming. So I don't know how to read that, but judging from their voice, I think it's going to be something pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. Let's talk about some of the stuff in the comments. What do you think about Magnum jumping into the education space? Do you own any of their books? Which books do you own? Tell me which Magnum books you have. I'm really curious. Recommend some to me, because I got a bunch of them, but there's some really cool artists out there that I'm sure I have not been able to get a look at, and I would love to know your suggestions. Let me know if you're an Adobe or Final Cut person. Did you switch from one to the other? Did you go back? Was there something that bugged you about one or the other? Is there something that optimized your workflow from one or the other? Have you had issues with deleting cache and losing files? Let me know. Hit me up down in the comments. Do you own a Loom Cube? Are you into the Loom Cube? Have you gotten creative with it? Tell me how creative you've gotten with the Loom Cube, okay? I want to know what weird and offbeat uses you found for these little tiny LED cubes that are waterproof. They're pretty interesting. They did storm through the market. We did see them come out hard out of the gate. Let me know what you think about some of the stuff that's happening on Adorama TV. Did you check out my Paris video? If you didn't, check it out. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Hit like, hit subscribe, wherever that is, some bell somewhere over here, depending on what you're watching this on. Write me down in the comments. I will see you there. All right, everybody. Later.